Let's see, surgery? How's it going, bad boys? How's it going, bad boys? Have you eaten your vegetables already? What's faster? To get ripped or 1,000 more followers? Yeah. Dig. A little bit of flexing after the pump. I was already at 150 pounds at the end of the first quarter of the year, but I was looking kind of flat. It was I looked defined, but I looked small when I was 155 pounds not too long ago. So I decided to start bulking again. That way, there's a small trade-off. You gain some body fat, as you can see right here. However, you do get in some strength. And I mean, I don't look that bad without a shirt on. I can still flex for the pictures or video like this, but in reality, I'm like this. This is me without flexing. Let's see, sideways. Not bad. Whereas if we release the air we're holding, so we could try to attempt to do a vacuum pose, which is pretty difficult, then you can flex. There you go. So you have my fake six-pack. Although I should be a little bit above 170 pounds already. Yeah. Oh, let's keep working out. You know, when I was younger, I actually competed in bodybuilding. You can still find the video on my YouTube. It's called Mr. Loretto 2011 Novice Division. My height is 5'8.5", which for people outside of the US, it should be 174 centimeters. And my weight during that competition, which it was over a decade ago, it was 150 pounds, which should be what, 70 kilograms? So, when somebody my height gets to weigh that much, while still being able to deadlift, and see my max was 375 pounds or 385, I cannot recall, but You can find it on YouTube. So you can find my max deadlift, which by the way was always unconventional. I learned how to work out using something called starting strength by the strength coach Mark Ribito, which was an infamous, or should I say famous, workout for getting skinny bitches like me to build muscle. And when I started working out, I was in college, I was 130 pounds. It was very difficult to get a date. I mean, I'm from a southern border of Texas, Colorado, which has some beautiful women that wouldn't want to date somebody that's leaner than them. So we packed a little bit of junk in the trunk. So I definitely had to gain some weight. And I started working out. Wow, that was such a long time ago. Now there's no way I'll stand stage looking like this. I need to be peeled, shredded to the bones. Especially in a city like this one, now that I'm in Austin, Texas, where people here are bigger, faster, and stronger. Reach for the pass. Never had a chest to begin with. I remember though that my side chest like this. One of my good poses is to throw it up. forgot that I'm not the owner of this gym. Other people come and go. When somebody walks in and I'm not wearing my shirt on. Oh. You guys have a home gym? Back then, you can still look for a YouTube video that I uploaded maybe 13 years ago on how to work out at home without gym equipment. Back then they were remodeling, building add-ons at my mom's house. So there were tons of bricks and blocks. So I did upload a video of me working with those blocks. And it turned out pretty good actually. You can find it, and if I recall correctly, I was 160 pounds in that video, at the most 165. I remember this number because back then in college, that was like the barrier to reach and maintain the 165 pound weight. It was pretty difficult, including that I had the meal plan for college students, which was, it took like three times a day. So I would eat indefinitely, because once again, back then we believed everything. I guess Mark Ripito used to say about strength training and gaining weight, which a lot of it was accurate, but some of it was, I don't know. There's like the gallon of milk challenge, which is a pretty impossible challenge, but you can find me attempting it on YouTube when I was younger, and that was one of the eating challenges I can never do. You need a special kind of character to do that challenge. I don't think I'm doing this right. It's too heavy. Of course, after doing my improvised workouts with blocks back then, I kept going to the college gym. Eventually, my ex-girlfriend and I got an apartment, which had enough space, if you think about it. And I bought, out of all the workout equipment, I bought the most practical that's guaranteed to make you grow and strong. And I have yet to meet somebody with a lower body overmass that regrets overworking out their lower half of their body. I got a squat rack because I figured, hey, squats are compound moves. They require tons of muscle coordination. You gotta keep getting strong, keep eating, and you start looking hard. And with a squat rock, you can still load the barbell, carry it on your shoulders, and start doing presses. So for my first and only room gym I ever had, I did squats and presses, military presses. Yeah. All right. Let's do some fake posing. Do you guys remember that, was it a Backstreet Boys or NSYNC video? Where, let's see, let's try it. It didn't start something like this. And then turn around. It's something like that. I recall it out of nowhere because there was that step, that choreography was part of something that nowadays would have gotten people canceled. But while I am from Texas, South Texas, I was raised in Mexico, the city of Nuevo Laredo, and were we in high school? We were in high school back then, and it was going to be Teacher's Day. So, Teacher's Day, you give them a cake. You say, "Hey, thanks for being my teacher. I like everything you do for me." But because in this Mexican city or college had what's it called? It was a middle school attached to a high school. Teachers' Day happened for both middle school and high school teachers, right? So, okay. And some of those classrooms from middle school would have skits that they prepared for, I don't know, whatever reason, comedy, giggling, comical relief. And me and my friends, were we adults? Maybe we're underage, right? Because it was during high school. We thought that a brilliant idea would be to, hey, why don't we dance? So we're like, oh yeah, sure, like dance. I mean, it's nothing serious. It's just Teacher's Day, right? Sure, let's goof around. So we got a lot of dudes that were in high school. We have the same teachers. We say, hey, let's tell them we prefer to skit. So screw it. Let's tell them we prefer to skit. Let the teachers sit around in a circle so they can see us. So we loosely practiced. We only goofed around with the song, what's his name? Everybody, rock your body. That song? So the only thing that was choreographed was the part where we're doing this shit. And then we just turn around, and then we start dancing. The thing is that we're high school students, and there's adult female teachers were on the audience because this was Teacher's Day. So we thought it was funny. We thought it was funny to approach the teachers and dance to them, like lap dance to them. And this was in Mexico again. Like if it had happened in the U.S., it would have been some sort of a state case. But teachers were giggling. They didn't know what to do. They thought it was hilarious because we are students, but we're already what? Young adults. We're high school students. So after the song, it ended, and I guess students talked about it loosely, but it never became a scandal because it was seen as comical relief. So nobody ever got canceled. And I'm talking about, over a decade ago, right? maybe 15 years ago. And it was crazy, the kind of stuff we would get away with before woke and cancel culture started becoming a thing. So in retrospective, that's the reason why I want to recall if it's a real memory or a loose memory that the song by Backstreet Boys featured at this step. Oh wait, turn around and smack. Let's see then. Oh, what am I doing? Ai. Hey, olá, bom dia, Raissa. Sim, ótimo. Todavia falo um pouquinho de português, mas meu sotaque é bastante devagar. Acho que preciso praticar muito mais frequentemente, porque às vezes somente falo um pouquinho para falar puras tonterias, puras coisas engraçadas que não são seriosas. But I have a cool story about that. Even though my Portuguese is limited, I didn't even need to get fluent to use it professionally. In fact, the first instances where I actually had to speak Portuguese for an extensive period happened when my manager and coworkers found out that I speak Portuguese, and one of them is from Argentina. So we speak Spanish. He learned Portuguese like at a school educationally, and he could do it. Eventually, we work in sales, so all of our calls are recorded. Every once in a while, we receive Portuguese speakers. By default, they would go to him, because at the time, we didn't have any Portuguese native speakers. Until I thought, hey, I've learned some Portuguese. I've sung some songs. I kind of understand what they're saying. I had to put it in practice. And then, have you seen that movie, The Planet of the Apes? When, I forgot if they were telling Caesar, hey Caesar, let's get out of here. We need to go home. Let's stop this. And Caesar speaks to the guy that raised him. An ape speaks and says, no. When I saw that scene at the movie theater, who was I with? Maybe I was with my friend Connor. When I saw that scene, my skin felt goosebumps. And I mean, it's a movie, right? But that was the first time I saw an ape speak. Like, it's not like, oh, like he spoke and said, yo, what up, dog? I'm thinking this and that. No, he said, I think he simply replied, no, Caesar is home. And there were two ladies next to us, or maybe in front of us, that did more than get goosebumps. One of them was frightened, and she mentioned aloud, oh my God, he spoke. So it was scary and shocking because nobody saw that coming. And the thing that makes it funny though is that Planet of the Apes, the one I'm talking about, is the one with that CGI, that's 3D animated. So nevertheless, we were impressed to see a CGI speak English. So something like that did happen to me. The first time that it was revealed was when we used to have a hotline to receive incoming calls. from all over the world. There were no restrictions. There was an international phone toll. So one time, somebody from Brazil did call. They asked me questions. I answered them in place. Then I scheduled a phone call with an actual Brazilian that works on our sales engineering department. I attended that meeting. I introduced him, but then I didn't want to get into walking people through demos or qualifying them, things like that, because I'm not fluent in Portuguese. I said, hey, you go ahead and talk. Just talk, I'll listen here. And during the time I was taking notes. So at the end of that call, the call went, it moved to the next phase. But of course, the sales engineer wondered, like, hey, Valdemar, how do you find this guy? This guy's from Brazil. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of speak Portuguese. I was like, oh crap, like, no way, I would have never thought of it. Because I was like, shit, well, it turns out I do. So that was when it was discovered. I could find my way around Brazil, or more specifically, Sao Paulo, because that short conversation ended up taking me to Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo. But of course, that business trip was possible because even though after that instance, a Brazilian, a native Brazilian, was hired to do the same thing I was doing, but in his native language, when he was hired, he had plans shortly after to go to a vacation trip with his friends, I don't know, fiance. Because he traveled during that work time, an important event called, is it called EMC Dell? Or Dell 20, I don't know what it was called. It was an event for Dell partnerships in Sao Paulo. So my coworker was traveling on vacation, he was not available. My manager called and asked me, hey Valdemar, you speak Portuguese, huh? I was like, yeah, so. But I'm not fluent, what about it? Well, you're fluent enough, pack your stuff, you're going to Sao Paulo. I was like, what? Badass, let's get out. So I was flown over to Sao Paulo with the engineers from my company, and it was pretty fun. We ended up doing everything, but rarely work. I mean, we did work during work hours, but after that, it's and I recall wanting to do short videos, like just walking around the city, because that was probably the first, and maybe the last time I'll go to Sao Paulo. But I was told by my Brazilian coworkers to be careful, to be acting the way that I am around the big city, because I'm not an asshole, I'm not flashy, flamboyant. The thing is that, sure, like, they told me, hey, Valdemar, that's true, you speak Portuguese, but you sound like a foreigner. You sound like a foreigner that learned Portuguese. And even then, in Sao Paulo, like, people from the favelas don't care. Don't care. They don't care if you're a native or a foreigner. If you portray that attitude that you have, that's nothing bad about it, but it instantly targets you as a tourist. You will get robbed. If you're trying to make reels, TikTok snaps, short stuff on your phone, guess what? And this is not something I said here, this is said by actual Brazilians. I'm not stereotyping a city. So if you're doing short reels on your cell phone, guess what? A lot of people that are young here are pretty fast. They're gonna snatch the phone and it's gonna be a chase on foot. So you better be ready to run after them. because that's one of the most common things that happens in Sao Paulo with people making short content on their phones. So it's a non-violent crime that requires you to be athletic if you're going to take the chase after a youngster that snatches your phone. So overall, I was told this by my Brazilian coworkers, and even though I went to Sao Paulo and it was great, I stayed at the centric place, at the I guess the downtown, the best of the best area. So Sao Paulo is massive. It's a never-ending, stretching part of beautifulness and a cosmopolitan city. You can find and do everything in Sao Paulo. Everything. So I stayed on a rather ultra-developed, opulent side, which was great, but I didn't get to see the Sao Paulo to its fullest extent. What else? What can we do